Give him all my praises, cause he died for you and me.
Bringing awareness to domestic violence.
And that's why I keep praising him, cause he's so amazing, yes, he's amazing.
Come on in the house, come on in the house. Y'all tag some folks, share the video, tell them to come on in. Got an awesome testimony tonight. I need everybody praying and lifting her up, keeping her, hold her up spiritually, physically. Hey sis, about to clock out. Okay, we're going to clock out and get on in the car so you can listen. So tag your friends, your family, share the video. This testimony is she's gonna need all your support. She's gonna need good vibes. She's gonna need your love. She's gonna need to feel you guys praying for her and with her. Because this domestic violence journey ended in a tragic death. This is her first time telling her journey, and I am honored and I am humbled that she chose to tell it here. You can barely hear me, sis. Hey, Shavana. Okay, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Some people are saying they can hear me perfectly fine. So let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Maybe I was talking down a little bit. I don't know. Hey, Shell. Can y'all hear me okay? Some people saying they can hear me perfectly fine. Okay. Vet, I think that's your phone, boo. Good. Okay. Vet, I think that's your phone because everybody else said they can hear me fine. Tag a friend. Share the video. Tell some people to come on in. I need all of my prayer warriors on here that are on here already that are coming in to be praying with this young lady. She's nervous. This is her first time ever telling her journey in her words in public like this. So I assured her that my peoples, because y'all know y'all my peoples, are going to hold her up. And you're going to send her good vibes and lots of love. I've been praying about this thing probably for about 2 weeks, maybe more, because what I know of this story, I knew I was going to need God to cover me spiritually, emotionally, and cover my mind. Because as a domestic violence survivor, that's tragic enough. But when it ends in a tragic death like this, that just brings a whole new life to it. Gladys Stocks is actually the young lady's name. So y'all keep her lifted, show her a lot of love. Send her some hugs and some kisses and let her know that you're praying with her and give her some strength. I told her we cry together, we laugh together, we play together, we do all that. So we're going to hold her up. Gladys, go ahead and send me an invite, a request to add you in, and I'm going to bring you on in. I know I'm probably looking a little bit serious tonight, but this story messed me up. What I know of it, I tried to read the articles on it and I couldn't. After about 2 lines, I had to stop. So I'm trying to get myself together right now so that I can be her strength and hold her up as she attempt to tell us her journey for the very first time. So, Gladys Marie, go ahead and send me an invite. I just saw her on here, so I hope she's still on here. Um, so, y'all give her a minute. There she is. Let's try to get her in here. Y'all, when she comes in, I want y'all to show her lots of love, send her some hearts, let her know that you're here. Hi, dear.
Hello, hello, hello.
You look beautiful. I know. We got you.
Hello, hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can
Awesome.
hear you.
Good, 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 good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. I told you we got you. They're sending you some hearts and everything now. Um, we praying with you. Because I know this cannot be easy tonight. Telling this journey. You okay?
I'm okay. It's for some reason it's echoing in my ear. So it's like a delay after you talk.
Okay. You got your plugs in?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Can you? I mean, we might get a little bit of that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so everybody, this is Gladys Stocks, and I'm not going to even attempt to tell her journey because I cannot tell it. All I can tell you is that uh, I will tell you this: her journey ended in the death of her 3-year-old son. So, Gladys, I don't want to ask you any questions. I just want you um, tell what God puts on your heart. It's time for healing.
Okay. So I guess I'll start at the beginning. In December of 2006, my dad passed away suddenly from colon cancer. And he went into the hospital. He ended up leaving the hospital and going to a hospice. And he passed away on the 16th. And so during that time, I ended up going into a shelter because the person that he was renting a house from wouldn't allow me to stay there because I wasn't working. At the time when I was living with my dad, I had my two children. I had my then 3-year-old son, and excuse me, my 6-year-old son, and then I had given birth to my other son. And I went into a shelter, and my name came up on the waiting list for public housing because when I originally moved in with my dad, I had put my name on the waiting list. So my name came up on the waiting list while I was in the shelter. So I was able to move. So I went from a shelter in Laurel to public housing in Annapolis. And it was during that time that I met the gentleman that ultimately murdered my son. I'm not going to get into his name. People, if you Google my name and Google my son's name, you can see the entire story. So I'll do it that way.
Absolutely.
For I don't want any issues, anybody trying to come after me or whatever. So I'll leave it at that. But it's public record. The story is public record. So I met this gentleman during the time that I basically so I had the police had gotten a tip that someone was selling drugs on the bottom floor of the apartment building that I lived in. And they wasn't sure which apartment it was exactly. So they basically executed a search warrant on all of two of the apartments on the bottom floor. And they busted into my house. And they didn't find what they were looking for as far as like big time drugs or anything like that. But they did find like a small bag of weed. And because I lived in public housing, you can't have drugs and charges and stuff like that when you live in public housing. So
Mhm.
it was basically, I had to move. and I wasn't given a lot of time. I was given like less than a month. I'm gonna say maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and it was like, okay, you have to move. So it was during that time I was dating a gentleman, and he was like, my sister lives up in Baltimore, and she could probably talk to her landlord and get you an apartment up there really quick. So I was like, okay. And when we were living in Annapolis, like things weren't perfect, but things were okay. We had arguments, like most people do. We had arguments. When we moved to Baltimore, things took a whole different turn. Um, every time I left the house, I was accused of going out to cheat. I would be going to Walmart with my children, like to meet one of my girlfriends who also was in a situation where she wasn't the happiest with her relationship. She had a guy that was insecure, and so he would accuse her of stuff. So we were both kind of in a situation where we were dealing with these guys. They weren't emotionally stable, is a nice way of putting it. And we dealt with a lot of stuff. And so we clung to each other. And so I would go to Walmart, I would come back, I would go through a whole argument of, oh, you must have been out seeing another guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I had my children with me. Like, I went to cheat with my children with me, really, at Walmart. Like, okay, I didn't want to say no, I went to Walmart because I want to get away from you because I'm sitting here watching you drink all day long. Like, you have nothing else to do. And yeah, it's annoying. So I'm going to Walmart for fresh air, or I'm going to go to the grocery store for fresh air because every time I turn around, you're in my face and you're saying, different things to me. And it's like emotionally draining. And I just need to get away from you. And so it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I have to get out of this situation. Like he would jump in my face, he would push me, like it was crazy things, and I was just like, I'm not built for this. Like I'm not the woman that can deal with this type of energy. I didn't want to fight him back because I didn't want to make him more angry, because you don't know what someone's capable of, and it's easier sometimes to just kind of duck and hide than to face the reality of what you're dealing with. So, in the process of all of that, I had spoken to my youngest son, Jabari's grandmother, and I had asked her if Jabari could come live with her so that myself and my oldest son could go back into a shelter so I could get on my feet and just get myself out of that situation. And she said, sure. So we agreed on June 14th, 2007 as the date that Jabari was going to come and live with her. And on June 8th, 2007, my ex decided to take my life. Um, I remember leaving for work at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the lady that usually babysat my children, her daughter was graduating from middle school that day. And so she had kind of told me at the last minute, hey, I'm not going to be able to babysit I'm sorry. And I had a inclination to call out, but when you're a single mom and you're trying to provide for your children and you're trying to do everything that you can, you don't want to take chances. Like I had lost jobs. Jabari, unfortunately, when he was born with severe acid reflux, and he was always sick. Um, I was constantly back and forth in the hospital with him. They tested him for cystic fibrosis. They tested him for everything that you could think of. He constantly threw up. He couldn't keep food down. At the time of his death, at 3 years old, my baby weighed 26 pounds because he was sick. Like he always was sick. And so he was an easy target for this devil that I was dating because he was weak. He cried a lot and he demanded a lot of my attention. And the man was jealous. He was jealous of a 3-year-old child. Like, we argued about the attention that my 3-year-old child required. We argued about the fact that I would lose jobs because I had to miss work because my son was sick and I had to take him to the doctor because he was in pain. Like, he would cry constantly. Like, my baby had a pacifier to match every outfit because he cried so much. And the only thing that soothed him was his pacifiers. And so that was his thing, was his pacifiers. So regrettably, I drove to work, and about 8 o'clock, my a manager called me over to the desk, and she said, someone's on the phone for you." And I get on the phone. This man says to me, "Your son isn't breathing. I need you to come home." And I dropped the phone and I told the manager, "I need to go home. My son isn't breathing." I got in the car. I don't know how I drove home. I drove home by instinct. I don't know. I don't know how I drove home. And at that time, it didn't occur to me, wait a minute, why didn't he call 911? You know what I mean? Like, that didn't occur to me. Only thing I knew was this man called me and told me my son wasn't breathing and I was his mother and I needed to be there. And so I drove home and I grabbed my son out of his arms and I knew at that moment that my son was gone.
Wait a
Like,
minute.
I felt it.
Give me a minute. Y'all excuse me. Marie, give me a minute. I gotta get myself together. Y'all give me a minute. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I felt it. And I drove to the hospital and I ran inside and I told them that I needed them to look at my son. And they took him in the back. And I just remember sinking down to the floor because I just knew, like, I carried, I gave birth to him. I took care of him for 3 years. I knew. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel. And I just remember them coming to me saying, "We're sorry." Like, that he was already gone. And I, I remember making some phone calls from the hospital, to family, to his dad, letting him know, his dad's family. And I called his godmother and I drove home and I was never the same from that day forward. And we're talking about 2007. It's 2021, and I'm still battling with this. And that's why this was so important to me because I've held onto this for so long. The pain, like the, the depression, the depression has been unbearable at times. Like, after my son's death, I couldn't sleep in that house. I sat on my front porch all day. I drank, I smoked, I popped pills, I cut myself. Like, I got put on 72-hour psychiatric hold for cutting myself because I didn't know what else to do. Like, I felt like I had died inside. Like, that little boy was my world. Like, people don't know. Like, he was my world. And, you know, his father's family blamed me, his dad blamed me. They had no idea what I was enduring. Like, the nightmare that I was enduring in that house with that man day in and day out, the different women, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, like trying to just keep my children alive. You know, I was trying to keep my children alive, and I failed. Like, I lost my baby, and I will never be the same. Like, I have another son. I gave birth in 2009 to my now 11-year-old son, and I was so protective. I was so stressed out. I didn't even think I was going to finish my pregnancy. I got put on bed rest at 3 months because my blood pressure was so high, because I was dealing with a trial for my deceased son while I was pregnant with my youngest son. I had to travel back and forth to Baltimore for a trial and testify and talk about the loss of my son while I was pregnant with another son. And it was hard because the courtroom was small and I was so close to that man. And I don't want to say what I was thinking because I don't want to incriminate myself in any type of way. But just know that there was some thoughts going through my mind of if I could get away with some things. Even as I was carrying a baby in my stomach, I was thinking about how could I avenge my other baby, because he didn't deserve that. You know what I mean? He was suffering enough. He was in enough pain. Like, what type of monster picks on a baby? And in case anyone's wondering, he had children. He has like 4 children. And when one of my friends did a case search on him, she found out that he had had second-degree assault charges with a previous ex-girlfriend. He had had domestic violence charges with one of his baby mothers. And I didn't know any of this. And I wish I had done my research. I wish I had done my research, um, because I definitely would have never been in that situation, you know, but I was in a bad place. You know, I had just lost my grandmother and my father back to back. Like, I lost my grandmother in June 2006. And she was the one that raised me. You know, she was my dad's mom. She was the one that took care of me, and I lived with her pretty much since I was like born, because my dad was a truck driver and he was always out of town. So, like, I was either at my grandmother's house or I was with my aunt and uncle. Like, that's how it went. And so yeah, I lost. It was a trifecta for me. I lost my grandmother, my dad, and then my son within a 1 year time frame, essentially. And I lost my mind. You know, I really lost my mind. And I put on a good front. You know, I smiled. When I got out of that situation, I got out of before I even found out that he had murdered my son, because I did not know he murdered my son until October of 2007. So it wasn't until months later that I knew that he had murdered my son. He was still in my face, smiling and laughing every day, knowing that he had murdered my son. And it was in July that I ended up leaving him because we got into a really bad argument, and I had tried to go back to work, and I had left work because I was just not having a good day. If, like, I mean, this was June that my son was murdered. We're now talking about July, and I'm trying to function and be there for my oldest son still. And we got into an argument because I ended up coming home from work, and he was like, "He's not coming back. You need to get over it." That's what he said to me. He said, he's not coming back. You need to get over it. And I lost it. I went off on him. I yelled at him. I screamed at him. I'm pretty certain I threw something at him. And I turned to walk away from him. We were staying in the basement of his mother's house at that time, back in Annapolis. We were staying in the basement of his mother's house. And I went to walk down the steps so I could start packing my stuff. And he pushed me. And by the grace of God, I was holding on to the railing because had I not been holding that railing, I would have been at the bottom of those steps. And I knew right then and there that I had to go. I packed everything. I had my son pack everything. I called one of my friends who lived not that far away. Her and her boyfriend drove to his house. Her boyfriend, like we had to hold her boyfriend back because her boyfriend wanted to go in and fight him. Because her boyfriend was like, "How dare you? Like you like again, we didn't know that he had murdered my son though." But her boyfriend was like, "How dare you? This woman is grieving. How dare you tell her to get over it? Like how dare you say something like that to somebody?" But that's how I know I was dealing with a monster, because how can you say something like that about a child? And so I packed my stuff and I never looked back. He called me, he called me, he called me, he called me. I would hang up, I blocked him, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? Like, leave me alone. And then I got that call from the detective while I was at a brand new job, and they told me they needed me to come to Baltimore because they needed to talk to me. And I took the train because I wasn't driving at that time. I took the MARC train to Baltimore, and the detective sat me down and they said, "Miss Stocks, we're sorry to inform you that we know for a fact that he murdered your son, and we're just trying to get everything together so that we can pick him up." And I said, "Okay," and I lost it. I lost it. Um, because I couldn't believe that, like I said, he had the nerve to be sitting in my face. Like you were in my face watching me cry. You were in my face watching me drink myself to death because I was grieving and you had caused my grief. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all this time, this man has never shown any remorse. I've never gotten an apology. Nothing. Went to trial. It kept getting postponed. Like that's why I ended up being pregnant throughout my trial because it kept getting postponed and postponed and postponed. They were doing everything they could to fight because he had given two different statements to the police. Like things were not looking good. My 6-year-old son was going to testify to what he had witnessed and what he knew, and that was what caused him to plead guilty. His mom convinced him to plead guilty to keep my 6-year-old son from having to get on the stand and testify about what he knew. And after everything was over, I remember sitting in the living room with my 6-year-old son, and he said to me, "Mommy, I'm sorry." And I said, "Sweetie, what are you sorry for?" And he said, "I'm sorry I didn't protect my brother." And I said, "What do you mean, baby?" And he said that this guy had been abusing them the entire time since we had moved to Baltimore. And he told them that if they told anybody, he would kill me. And so my son kept that. He kept that inside. And that that took that took me. Like that took me. And my son still struggles. He's 19. He's 19 and he still struggles with the death of his brother. He still struggles with it. And I have to try to help him to the best of my ability to still keep him from blaming himself. Like, I had to talk my son out of suicidal thoughts one day last year because he was having such a hard time. still blaming himself of his brother. And as a mother, it's hard. It's unbearable. And that's why I'm still dealing with trying to get to a place of closure because I'm still trying to help him, and he won't go to counseling because in the hood is a stereotype. Oh, if you go to therapy, oh, there's something wrong with you, oh, you're crazy. Like, I don't care if people label me crazy. I have been to therapy. I'm still in therapy. I need therapy. Like, I cannot cope without therapy. If I don't talk to someone at least once a month who doesn't know me, who doesn't deal in my everyday life, and get it out, I erupt. Like, I'm in a new relationship. I I applaud the guy I'm dating because I don't know how he deals with me because I am a lot. Like, I am so many emotions because I am still dealing with the insecurities and the distrust because of what this man did. Like, I can't trust. It's hard for me to trust a man because I had a man in my face for a month after he murdered my son. He was in my face for a month watching me suffer, and he had caused it. And so I don't trust. Like, I don't trust. Like, you could tell me you love me, and I don't believe it. I was married for 9.5 years, and I took my poor ex husband through hell because I was never supposed to be married. I had just had my son murdered a year before. I was never supposed to be in a marriage. I was on a rebound. You know what I'm saying? I was on a rebound, and I brought a child into that rebound, like all of that, because I did not get the help and the support that I needed because I felt judged. I had my own mother say to me that the reason why my son was gone because I didn't do a better job of picking men. I currently haven't spoken to my mother or my brother since like October of 2019 because what you're not going to do is make me feel even worse about myself than I already feel about myself every day. I will remove you from my life. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to have that energy in my life. I have God. And as long as I have God, I don't need anybody else. But I really do need a circle of support because
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle. And I just want to get to a place where I don't feel the guilt. Like, I still blame myself, and I don't know how to get to a place. Like, I'm hoping that the new therapist that I'm seeing now, I'm on like therapist number 6 or 7 at this point. Um, I'm hoping that this therapist can help me really get to that place where I'm not beating myself up anymore, and I'm not breaking down at the thought of my son. I'm not falling apart on his birthday because I just can't, get myself out of bed. I've had several of his birthdays where I didn't even get out of bed because it was just too much. The anniversary of his death, it's just too much. It's too much. Um, And, I wanted to talk about this because there's someone going through something similar and they're afraid. They're afraid to tell their story. They're afraid to tell someone because they feel like they're going to be judged because people are judgmental. This world is so judgmental. Like, we judge and you don't know. You don't know what someone is dealing with behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. I never asked for any of this. Like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Like I wouldn't. I would not wish this type of pain, this type of grief on even the worst person that has done anything to me in this world. I just wouldn't. It's a burden that no one should have to carry. And May of 2018, I had to go back to court because I didn't know that when they did the plea deal with him, and this is why this closure has taken so long. I didn't know that when they did the plea deal with him, that they had told him he could have his sentence reviewed for modification. So I had to go to Baltimore and read a victim's impact statement in a courtroom with him, his family, and whoever else. I don't know who else was there. About why he should not be released from jail. And the good thing is the judge said immediately, he was like, I don't even know why we're here. This was a 3-year-old child. We shouldn't even be here reviewing anything. Like, he should have gotten more time. And the judge even said that one of the things that bothered him was the fact that the man showed no remorse. Like, there was no remorse. His defense attorney was in court pleading that he should be released because he had taken anger management and because he had gotten certifications in this and certifications in that and all these things, but there was never an apology. There was never, I didn't mean to do it. So he meant what he did. He meant what he did, and it's an unfortunately sad reality that there are people out here in this world that are that cold.
I may regret asking this, but there's somebody on here that's asking. And you only answer this if you feel like you can handle it. What did he do to your son? And why did it take the cops so long to realize that he had been murdered and not just die of natural causes? What did this man do to this baby?
So, long story short, my son's cause of death was blunt force trauma to the frontal lobe. They said that what he did, my oldest son said that basically they were playing the room playing, and Jabari was whining because, like I said, that's what he did, unfortunately, because he had the reflux. It was painful. And he said that my ex came in the room. He dragged my son into our bedroom. And a few minutes later, he heard something slam to the floor. And he ran into the room. And my son Jabari was laying there. And he was like, he wasn't moving. And my oldest son said that he just kept saying, Jabari, wake up. Jabari, wake up. So, that's why he carries, that's why my oldest son carries what he carries, because he witnessed his brother's last few minutes of life.
Can I say something to you? You do know this is not your fault, right? You do know that, right? There, don't let anybody tell you that what this person did to your children is because you didn't choose a better man. Because we don't know who these guys are when we get in relationships. And some of them are good at wearing that mask so well and being one person so well until the real person can't help but to come out. You understand what I'm saying? This is not your fault. This is not your oldest son's fault. There is nothing that baby could have done to help save his 3-year-old brother. Nothing. And if he had tried to do anything, he probably would have lost his life in the midst of it too. This is not your fault. And see, we can always say, well, why didn't she leave him? Why did she stay? You know what I mean? But when you in a place like you were, you met a man right in the middle of you grieving your grandmother and your father's death. You couldn't have taken the time to know who this guy was because you were an emotional wreck yourself. But even if you had waited a year, even if you had known this man 5 years, him being the person that he is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong to cause your son's death. You didn't do anything wrong to cause this man to abuse your children. And you are not alone. You're not going to be alone. You got a whole host of women out here who going to be my sister's keeper. Your journey is going to help somebody else survive.
And I think that's why I went through this. Like I questioned I lost my faith in God after this. Like it was a struggle. Like I really rejected my faith, and I had to find my way back, because I was like, how could God allow this to happen? That was what I like. That was the first thing, and I know that we're taught that everything happens for a reason, and that God allows things
Excuse
to
me.
happen for a reason. And I feel like this test was for me to have a testimony to help someone. You know, like I said, there's someone who is battling in secret right now, and maybe someone will tell them to watch this and they will know, listen, you can get out. You have to pray. You have to pray your way out. You got to get a praying circle of people around you, and that's what it's going to take. I had I had somebody praying for me, you know maybe the outcome would have been different, but then again, maybe not. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I
I t-
believe that I went through this to be a help to someone
Y'all excuse me for coughing, but my allergy all of a sudden just kicked up. So y'all forgive me, please. I tell people all the time, and I told you last night when we were talking for a little while on the phone, I am convinced that it was my mother's prayers that kept that man from taking me out or taking one of my children out when I was in that journey. My mother told me when she found out what I was in, she said, I've been praying for you so hard and I didn't know why. I had a praying mama. My mother prayed for her kids when we didn't even know she was praying. And I'm convinced that it was because of her prayers that I survived it. You know what I mean? Um, this is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. And I wish there was something I could say to you to make you understand none of this is your fault. Absolutely none of it. And from this day forward, you are not alone. You're not in this thing by yourself.
And I appreciate you. I told you it was fate that we met that day. That was fate. That was God, you know. Like for that conversation to take place and then for you to walk into the store shortly after, that was God. God knew that I needed someone to help me get this off. And I appreciate you for being that person. You know, I know it wasn't easy for you, and I appreciate you supporting me and encouraging me. And I you know, I- I'm working on writing a book about this because I
Yeah.
want to really like get it all out. And among some other things I've discovered, I got some serious daddy issues to deal with. Love my daddy, but my daddy wasn't there, so that's
Yeah.
that's been a part of my journey of how I ended up in some of the relationships that I've ended up in. So I'm working on clearing some things out and helping somebody else in this journey of mine. I'm gonna walk into my purpose while I have some
Absolutely.
time left.
Absolutely. Write that book and um we got you. Um I'm humbled. I'm honored that you chose this platform to begin the healing. And I'm here. Whatever I can do, if you need somebody to talk to, if I don't do anything but pray and cry, we can do that together. But I
Sometimes
am
that's all
looking
you
forward.
need.
I'm looking. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes that's all you need. I am looking forward to the book coming out because it's going to help you heal. It's going to help you heal. You okay?
Yeah, I feel it's a weight. It's definitely a weight lifted. It's it's gratifying to like kind of be able to tell what, because a lot of my friends and family don't even really know what I was going through. I didn't tell anybody. So it's good to get it off my chest and get that weight off, and just really work towards healing.
And that's what we're here for. We're going to heal together. And yeah, this was not an easy. This now tonight wasn't easy for me. Um, most of my segments are not easy, but this particular one, um, got it just the emotions and that it this just wasn't easy for me. But I knew I had to do it, and I'm glad I did because you are a strong woman. Out of all that you've been through, you're still standing.
And I still manage to smile.
Yes, you do. When I met you, you were smiling. Yeah. So you're stronger than you know. You're stronger than you know. And anytime you want to come back here and just talk to continue your healing, we're here. We're right here. So Oh man, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of
I'm very
myself.
proud.
I'm proud of myself. I wasn't sure, if I was gonna be able to do it, but I just let God flow through me.
You're very strong. You're stronger than you thought last night. And my prayer was before we got on here, God just give her strength. Speak through her. Speak through me. Let her know that she's loved. And I believe He did just that. And my people are talking to you. Um, they're very supportive people. I love my people. I call all of my everybody that comes on with me. I call them my people because I feel like they're my family. You know. So they're talking to you. They're praying with you and for
I
you.
can't. I would say I can't even see the comments. I don't know if it's because I'm on, but I can't see the comments.
That's okay. When you get off and you watch the video, you can talk back if you
Yeah, I'll
want
be
to.
able to see everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll be able to see all the comments,
Okay.
and you
Okay.
can you can you can respond to the comments and talk to them. And
Okay.
they holding you up. They praying for you. Yeah. So we got you. I told you last night. We got you. And if you need me,
Whew.
just call my phone or
Yes,
text me.
ma'am.
Say, listen, I need to talk. Call me. And I started doing my sister. I am my sister's keepers check in, and I'm going to
I
include you
saw
in
that.
that. And I'm going to
Okay.
include you in that. What I am going to do instead of putting a status on, I'm actually going to start a weekly I am my sister's check-in. I'm gonna I just gotta work out the day that I'm gonna do where I'm gonna go live. And that show is gonna be dedicated to my sisters. We come in and check on each other, how you doing, talk. If you need to laugh, just hang out. That's gonna be my sister my
Okay.
that's my I am my sister's keeper check-in.
Okay.
So I'm
Cool.
gonna I might start it this week. If not, it'll be next week. But yeah, because we gotta look out for each other. We gotta be our sister's keeper.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We need each other. We may not want to admit it, but we need somebody. We need each other. And we don't need each other pulling each other down, standing
Right.
on each other's
Exactly.
neck, talking about each other, throwing shade. We don't need any of that. We need real sisters that genuinely want to know, sis, how you doing? You good?
Yep.
You need anything? I got you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We we
I
we
100% agree.
we need that.
It's much easier to be against someone than to join together. We're so much stronger together.
Come on now, you better say so.
They don't call black girl magic for nothing. I'm just saying.
Mm, that's reality though. That's the truth. Yeah, so we got to hold each other accountable. We got to look out for each other. I'm finding out doing this checking in. I'm checking in my sister's keeper check in. I'm finding out just that one thing and saying, "Hey sis, you good?" Makes a person day to know that somebody cares and is checking on me.
hmm
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It's the small things.
it is. It really is. But I'm extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm extremely proud of you. But you just remember, none of this is your fault. And tell your baby, your oldest son, we sending him much love, prayer. This is not his fault. There is nothing he could have done. Nothing at all. So if you
Thank you.
need me, you call me. But I'll be checking in.
Okay. Well, you know where to find me.
Oh,
I'm at the
absolutely.
other
I'm come.
location. I'm
I'm
at the
coming
other
to your store.
location.
I'm coming to your store. I
Okay.
started to come
Look,
Saturday. Yeah.
I'm wearing one of my shirts today.
Girl, you better go on get
I
you.
had to get this one with with the afro with the natural hair. Cause
Yeah,
when I
I think
take
I'm.
this off, I got an afro.
You are silly. You are so silly.
Hey, I'm just keeping it
I know that's right. I'm gonna come out there and check you
real.
out, though. Yeah, I haven't been to
Okay.
that one, but I'm definitely gonna come out there and check you out.
Okay.
All right, baby. I love you,
Love you
and I'm proud
too.
of you.
Thank you so
And
much.
if you
Thank
need me,
you.
you call me. All right, baby.
I will. All
All
righty.
right, sweetie.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.
Oh man, y'all, that was rough. That was rough, y'all. Ooh. Okay. Well, y'all keep her lifted. Her and her baby, her son. Keep her lifted in prayer, and um, I'm getting ready to start. I'm getting ready to start my weekly I Am My Sister Keeper live chat. We're gonna come live, y'all. I thought about doing a Zoom and just inviting some of you guys to let's do a Zoom weekly chat. But we gonna do this thing right here because there are some women that comes in here that I don't have their personal number to Zoom them in and all. So we're gonna do our weekly I Am My Sister's Keeper check in right here, and I'll let y'all know when the first one is gonna be. Um, because we need each other. We need each other. Somebody is saying Zoom is good. Um, yeah, I think Zoom is good too. The only thing, yeah, I agree. Zoom is good too. And Zoom might be a little bit more personal, but we could, really love up on each other more in a more private setting versus live. So let me pray about that one. Who's that? Glenda. Good to see you, Glenda. Let me pray about that one because Zoom is that might let me pray about that one. But I'll let you guys know when and where, whether it's going to be here or whether it's going to be Zoom, because we need that, y'all. We got to take care of each other. We got to hold each other up. Um, I thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. When I get off of here, I'm gonna have to go upstairs and get in me some scriptures and pray a little bit more because this one kind of messed me up tonight, like real bad. Um, but I'm honored and I'm humbled that she chose this platform, that she trusts us. And I thank you guys for showing yourself trustworthy to her because she was worried and she was nervous about telling her journey because people are very judgmental and have been judging her. Um, and I assured her that you guys were not like that. So I thank you and appreciate you guys for showing yourselves trustworthy to her because she needed the love. Because it's not her fault. None of what happened is her fault. And I'm just glad that we were here for her. So y'all reach out to her, say something to her in the comments, and let her know that you love her and you're praying for her. And I thank you guys for hanging out with us. Um, I really thank you. Yes, it is, Nisi Poo, judgment free zone. Yeah, we don't do that here. We love up on each other. People come here, and most people I've had it's been if that was the first time telling their journey, and they come because they feel comfortable doing it, and that they feel like they can trust us with their heart, and we're gonna keep it that way. So I thank y'all. I thank y'all. I thank y'all. Next week, Tuesday, we're gonna be back here. Um, Same time, 7 o'clock. Um, Got an awesome guest coming on next week. Um, so y'all tune in next week. Um, and y'all keep my girl, Gladys Marie, lifted. Show her a lot of love. Shelly Shell, Blank Chick, thank you for telling her about me and introducing her to come on to the show. I appreciate you. Um, and you know I love you. So I thank you also for letting her know that this was a safe place for her. So you guys enjoy the rest of your. I don't even know what time it is, y'all, because I left my watch upstairs. So I don't know if it's 8 or after 8 or what, but it's okay. Um, love you too, Pookie. Sending you hugs too, Shelly. But I thank you. I thank you for all of you. This is your first time. Thank you for joining. Make sure you come back next Tuesday. Powerful testimonies this month. But I think this right here probably was the hardest for me. Even 2 3 weeks leading enough because I had to do a lot of praying about this one. But y'all come back and hang out with us. Glenda. Oh, it's 8. Okay. Thank you, Glenda. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I think this is probably the earliest we've gotten off, right, guys? My regulars. Yeah, we usually be on here to like 8:30, 8:45. Um, but thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Share the video if you don't mind. Tell some friends about us. For the newcomers, go and check out my YouTube channel, WarriorShe Room. On YouTube, all of my shows thus far, and some other good stuff is on the YouTube channel. And you all can also check out my website, WarriorShe.org. Oh, y'all see my new Warrior She group that I created Saturday? Y'all go join that for me. The Warrior She group. Join it, tell your friends about it, because soon we're gonna be going live from there. I hope. Um, so thank y'all. I appreciate you guys and I love you guys. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday. So tell somebody who can tell somebody who will tell somebody next Tuesday night at 7. Let's talk. Y'all have a good night.